Dweck's research reveals two mindsets: fixed, seeing limits, and growth, embracing potential. A fixed mindset sees failure, but with a growth mindset, challenges become opportunities. Mindset shapes our world. Can abilities grow? A fixed mindset believes they are locked in place. A growth mindset sees hurdles as chances to learn. Change your world with the power of yet.
In a fixed mindset, challenges threaten confidence, leading to avoidance. Mindset shapes our world. Are abilities fixed or can they grow? Growth mindsets embrace potential. In a growth mindset, challenges are tools for learning. Remember, Sora, effort is the bridge to understanding. We did it! That is how we do it. A growth mindset is the key. It can triple your academic resilience, giving you the power to bounce back. This data confirms it. We have achieved incredible growth. This is just the beginning of our journey.
You have got this. Just trust your vision.
Here is a new perspective.
Wow, that's much better.
We did it! Perfect teamwork.
All right, let's jump right in, shall we? You know, have you ever stopped to think about why two people, literally with the exact same level of talent, can face the exact same challenge but end up with completely different results? Well, today in this explainer, we're unpacking the very architecture of how we grow. We're going to look at this fascinating idea that our mindset shapes not just how we learn, but honestly, who we actually become. This whole thing goes back to psychologist Carol Dweck's landmark 2006 research. It was a total game changer. It completely flipped how we understand human potential. It's just wild to see how something as invisible as a belief can have these massive, totally visible.
So it all really boils down to one fundamental question. Are our abilities set in stone, or can they grow? I mean, take a second right now and think about your own gut reaction to that. When you hit a wall, is your first thought, man, I just don't have the talent for this? Or is it more like, okay, I just haven't figured it out yet? Dweck found that the answer hinges almost entirely on our personal beliefs, way more than any sort of innate biological talent. We usually picture our brains as these fixed containers of intelligence, right? But actually, they're way more like a muscle that just needs a really good workout. How you answer that one question basically sets the stage for everything you do.
Which brings us to section 1, fixed versus growth mindsets, and the divergent paths they create. We are all standing at this cognitive crossroads every single day. Think about the sheer contrast between these two paths. On one side, you've got the locked door of the fixed mindset. Your inner voice is basically just repeating, I can't. You see ability as static, you either have the gift or you don't, end of story. And the really heartbreaking part is failure gets tied directly to your identity. Failing means you are a failure. Picture a kid doing a puzzle, the pieces scattered, they get frustrated, sigh, and just walk away. But on the other side, that's the open gate of the growth mindset. The mantra here is, I can't yet. Ability is entirely dynamic. Putting in the effort is literally seen as the tool that rewires the brain. That same kid with the puzzle, they pause, reorganize the pieces, and just try a different strategy.
Now, to be fair, nobody is 100% one or the other. We're a mix. You might have a total growth mindset about your tennis game, but a rigidly fixed mindset about math. But ultimately, one path makes you dodge struggle because it feels like a threat, while the other embraces it as the necessary price of admission for progress.
And that contrast leads us straight to this incredible philosophical bridge from Dweck's 2006 work, Praise Effort, Not Intelligence. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? But man, it is profound. Dweck's team actually did this famous experiment where they gave 5th graders puzzles. Half the kids were praised for being smart, and the other half were praised for working hard. Guess what happened? When they were given a choice later, the smart kids picked easier puzzles. They didn't want to risk looking dumb. But the kids praised for effort, they actively chose harder puzzles to keep stretching their brains. No way, right? Think about how we validate people. When we say, wow, you're so smart, we're accidentally shoving them toward that locked door because we're praising a static trait. If they fail tomorrow, they'll think they lost their smarts. But saying, you worked really hard on that, validates the process. How we validate entirely dictates the path we and the people around us end up walking down.
So what happens when you go down that first path? Let's look at Section 2, the fixed mindset trap and the fear of being found out. I want you to picture a mental cage, but one made entirely out of your own thoughts. The bars are forged from phrases like, I'm not smart, everyone else is better, and mistakes equal shame. If you're living in that fixed mindset reality, a tough math equation on a whiteboard isn't a fun puzzle, it's a massive spotlight about to expose your flaws to the world. Challenges aren't opportunities here, they are literal existential threats. Every tiny stumble just feels like more proof of your limitations. And we really need to look at this with deep empathy. When someone shuts down or hovers their thumb over the skip question button, they aren't being lazy. Actually, scratch that, it's not about laziness at all. It's a paralyzing, deep-seated fear of failure.
And the real-world fallout from that fear is just staggering. Dweck's data showed that middle schoolers moving into tougher grades who operated with a fixed mindset avoided 40% more challenges than their growth-minded peers. 40%! That is a massive developmental cost. Think about it. Nearly half of all chances to learn, to grow, to discover something completely new just left on the table. Why? Because the fear of looking foolish completely overrode the desire to learn. That right there is the true trap of the fixed mindset. It literally shrinks your life to only the things you already know how to do perfectly. But thankfully, there is another way. Let's shift gears to Section 3, the growth mindset advantage, and explore the actual architecture of growth. Let's break down how this creates a completely different operating system for your brain. When you view struggle as a beginning and not an end, you start using these cognitive building blocks. Step 1. Mistakes are just data. Seriously, they are not a reflection of your worth. They're literally just information telling you what didn't work so you can tweak your approach. Step 2. Effort is the bridge. Every single time you try, you're sending out these little effort sparks, building a bridge over the gap of what you don't know yet. And Step 3. Neuroplasticity is real. This isn't just some fluffy metaphor. Every attempt, every new strategy physically strengthens the neural pathways in your brain. It's like a vine growing and reaching out. In a growth mindset, being persistent isn't just blind stubbornness, it is absolutely strategic courage.
And the scientific payoff for that strategic courage? It is absolutely incredible. Research from Blackwell and colleagues showed that having a growth mindset results in 3 times higher academic resilience. 3 times! When these students hit a major setback or a tough transition, they bounce back so much faster and stronger. Why does that happen? Because when you genuinely believe you can grow, and you understand that your brain physically wires itself through effort, you literally do grow. The belief itself becomes the engine that drives your resilience.
So that leaves us with one final, incredibly important question for you to chew on. How are you going to approach your next big failure? Because let's be real, we are all going to face massive challenges. We're all going to drop the puzzle pieces or stare blankly at an equation we don't understand. But armed with what we now know about the architecture of our brains, the choice is entirely up to you. Are you going to see it as a locked door and retreat into that cage of I can't? Or will you see it as an open gate, a chance to grab some new data, put in the effort, and literally wire your brain? The next time you hit a wall, I challenge you to actively choose the growth path. Remember, your potential is not set in stone. It's just waiting to be built.
Witness the shocking conclusion. Watch the final chapter now. Remember to like and subscribe.